What's up, Grizz Nation? It is the Grizzlies taking on the Knicks for the one time this season at Madison Square Garden. This is like the most New York setup that we could have, Ian. You're in the streets of New York. I got New York in the background. You ready to break this one down?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had to for this one, right?
Yeah, this has to be like an iconic.
I could get the Statue of Liberty if you want, but I figured this was better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's so thoughtful of you. Thank you. Let's start with injuries, I guess, because we played the Knicks for our season opener and our home opener. It was a win in overtime, but that meant that Jaren Jackson Jr. was not playing. He's back today, but Desmond Bane had a good game against them. He had 16 points. He's not here today. But everyone is back for the Grizzlies who is supposed to be back. Obviously, Danny, Dez, and Zaire are still out. Xavier Tillman is questionable, but everyone else is back. But the Knicks have like a whole bunch of very important guys who are questionable, which means more like game time decision.
Right. So Derrick Rose has missed the past couple of games, and he is questionable coming into this one. Same thing with Cam Reddish. So they'll both be game time decisions. And a big one is Jalen Brunson, who I think he had a quad injury late Friday night against the Blazers, played through it, but did not practice on Saturday and is also questionable for Sunday's game. So it'll be big to see if the Knicks can get those guys healthy enough to get on the floor and what will be a challenging evening for them at the Garden tonight.
So the Grizzlies are coming off a really good win. It was a bounce back win against the Pelicans. They had some of their best defense, some of their best offense. They had one of their highest scoring quarters of the season. The Knicks are coming off an overtime loss just 2 nights ago, I guess. And you had mentioned it, Jalen Brunson had a big game against Portland. How does it change the way they come into this? Like, let's just say because it is questionable, if he does not play, it's such an offensive load for this team. Like, who steps up and scores?
Yeah, it changes everything for them because of what he does for them on offense. And so I would think the ball is in Julius Randle's hands more, the ball is in RJ Barrett's hands more if the Knicks do not have Jalen Brunson tonight. And then with the point guard situation, I mean, if Derrick Rose is in, he would assume more minutes at point guard. Deuce McBride as well has been in the rotation. With all these injuries, he should get some time. But maybe the Knicks go Emmanuel quickly starting at point guard if there's no Brunson. But yeah, it's hard to really overstate the impact that Brunson's had on this team. So him not being available will be a big crusher for Thibodeau and his group tonight.
Yeah. And so we're talking a lot about the guards. I want to talk really quickly, I guess it's sort of guards, but more about the bigs. This Knicks team is big. I mean, they're starting Robinson and Randall, which are just 2 big guys. And then off the bench, it's Obi Toppin, Sims. Like, you have a lot of big guys for the Knicks.
Hartenstein has size too.
Yes. And so battle of the boards, both these teams are top 5 in the league in rebounding. Both these teams are top 5 in points in the paint. Both these teams are top 5 in the league in second chance points. How important are I want to say those 3 battles: rebounds, second chance points, and points in the paint. How important is that tonight?
Well, it's big for the Knicks because if you look at the games where they've struggled, a lot of those games have come on nights where they've allowed a significant number of offensive rebounds, significant number of second chance points off of those offensive rebounds. Because with Mitchell Robinson, who he's just coming off an injury, I think he's still getting his win back, but he challenges a lot of shots. He alters a lot of shots. And sometimes that leaves the Knicks without great positioning to get the defensive rebound. So they're vulnerable on that end of the floor. And for the Knicks, really scoring in the paint has never been an issue for them this season. Rarely has been an issue for them this season. It's more so how they shoot from beyond the arc. So if they can get into the paint and create open looks from the perimeter and shoot the ball effectively, they're a very different team. But there are nights when they've struggled from beyond the arc, struggled to create good looks from beyond the arc, and the offense just stagnates. So that's what I would keep an eye on for New York.
I mean, they put up a lot of threes. Like, they let it fly. It's just a percentage wise. Like, I think they're bottom of the league right now in percentages, which doesn't say a lot because there is games where anyone can catch fire. But if the Grizzlies can keep those percentages low, it's a good thing for them, I guess. My last question for you, Ian, before I let you go, because I know your arm's probably getting tired. In the rain, no, I mentioned no Jaren Jackson Jr. last time that these two teams played. But as I just mentioned, the Knicks start 2 big guys. So now having Jaren and Steven, does it change the way, in your opinion, do you think it changes the way, the matchup? I feel like it's a better matchup now, even though the Grizzlies won last game. I feel like this is just so much better?
Yeah, I think from a Nick perspective, like it makes them have to account for another offensive talent. And, their defense has been, I would say, substandard to traditional Tom Thibodeau teams. So when you put Jaren Jackson out on the floor, I know you're taking Desmond Bain out of the equation, but you add Jackson, it makes for another challenge for this Nick front line that, has struggled with giving up offensive rebounds and struggled with second chance points. So just added pressure for the Julius Randles and the Mitchell Robinsons and the Jericho Sims and the Isaiah Hartensteins. But I do think the Knicks probably have a pretty good scouting report on Mr. Jackson, because his dad, Jaren Jackson Sr., is an assistant coach for Westchester Knicks. So I don't think they had to go too far to get some intel on Jackson heading into tonight's game.
Yeah, so we'll see both the Jaren Jacksons today, which is kind of a fun thing. It's going to be fun no matter what. We're at Madison Square Garden. Ian Begley, thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited to see you later. Thank you for having me in your city.
Hey, we always love when you're here. I knew the energy was different last night, this morning. I couldn't figure out why, and now I know. So
there we go.
Thanks.
There we go. It's me. It's not Ja in town. It's me in town, of course.
Oh, of course. Of course. All right. Well, I hope to see you later. It's always great talking to you.
Thank you so much. And Grizzlies fans, the game tips off. It's an early one because it's Sunday. It tips off at 5 p.m. Central Time. That's 6 p.m. if you're watching from New York, and you can watch it on Valley Sports Southeast and the Valley Sports Plus app.